Okay, so now we need a couple of other points in here. So let's go and we're going to put a couple of reference points in places where we are going to need them. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on point element once again. I'm going to click on point element and I'm going to come down here and at the middle of that reference line at the midpoint, I'm going to place a point. I'm also going to place a reference point right here at this midpoint. And if I can't find it easily, I can always hover on the line and type in SM on my keyboard, and that snaps right to the middle. Okay, so there's that reference point. Now what I want to do is say I want to draw a reference line, and now I can draw a reference line from this point here, right, to this point here, back up to this point here. Escape, and then I'll scroll out, shift middle mouse button around to the other side so I can see it a little better. And now I got to make sure I hit the right point. So I'm going to snap to here, still drawing reference lines to that point there. And then I'm going to draw to this point up here, right? Hit escape. Then I'm going to connect the two bottom points, right? So I'm going to snap here, and then I'm going to snap here and hit escape, escape, and I'm done. So now I've got what looks like a triangular kind of panel with a little structural piece at the bottom. Well, I say structural, but what do I mean by that? Let's go ahead and make some structure on here, because just like we can create forms like in our model here, we can create a form in our family. Well, what do I mean by that? I'm going to create one more reference point. I'm going to click here and I'm going to place it right in the middle here, right? Snap right in the middle. That's my point. Now I want to start placing some additional points, right? I'm going to place another point right here along the midpoint here. I'm going to place one on the midpoint here. And then I'm going to place one on the midpoint somewhere maybe around here, okay? Now I want to draw a structural profile. And I'm thinking for ours, it would look really cool if we did maybe something that was round. So let's see. Now you're going to see why we like to use these reference points, because these reference points, you can see when you click on them, they're like little reference planes that are on the angle we drew on. So you remember how we draw a profile and we sweep. Let's draw a profile. Let's go to set and we'll say set work plane. And the first one we'll click on will be this one, right? Let's do that one more time. Let me make sure I got that. Let me set this work plane to right there. And then I'm going to draw a circle profile on here. And I'm going to go here. And you see how I'm on that angle now? I'm going to say I want this to be a ½ inch, right? Just like that. Scroll out, escape, escape. I'm going to go to the other side. And I'm going to draw, I'm going to say set to this plane. And I'm going to say, draw me another circle profile here. And I'm going to say, I also want that to be a ½ inch, right? So there it is. Did I miss my one on the other side? Let me see. Nope, it's there. Okay. So then I'm going to go ahead and draw one up here to hold the panel in place. So I'm going to go to set work plane and I'm going to click here. And now I'm going to draw a circular profile. And I'm going to say, I want this one to be about, let's see, 3/4 of an inch, maybe. Yeah, sure. And then the very last one down here, I'm going to zoom in and say, set this work plane. And now I'm going to draw one here. And that one's going to be a full inch. Now you say, why did I draw those? Watch what I can do now that I've drawn those in there. Watch what happens. If I select that, and then my two reference lines, look what option I have now, create form. And when I create that form, and it's a solid form, look what it did. It put a piece of structure in place. That's nice, isn't it? I'll swing around to the other side, shift middle mouse button. Same thing, I'm going to draw a circle around that. Click this line, hold down control, click the other line, create form, solid form. There's my second one. My third one, I'm going to go up here. I'm going to select that. And then I'm going to hold down Control and click 1. Remember, 2. I'm going to get the reference lines, 3 and 4. And say Create Form. And see it sweeping that profile along there. And then down in the next one, I'm going to draw a rectangle around that. Hold down Control, click on that reference line and say Create Form. And so now I've got this interesting little panel. So what am I going to do with that panel? Well, I'm not going to do anything yet, because before I do that, I'm going to have to go through a little exercise here. And it's a little, I won't say it's lengthy, but I'm going to have to select. Now, what's interesting is if I draw a window around everything and go to the filter, you would think, oh, well, I can just say check none, and maybe if I click on these reference lines and hit apply, you see it'll grab all those, but it's not grabbing everything. It just turned that off. Right now, these are forms. So in order to change the material to something I want to use, I'm going to have to go through and I'm going to select everything and I'm going to change it. And I'm going to click on that, right? And you see how when I click on one side, it doesn't pick up the other side. So I'm going to have to go ahead and click on my what? My control key and click it again. So I'm going to pause the video while I click all of these so you don't have to watch me do it. So now I'm in here and now I can go over to category, right? And I have to type in my own because you can see over here there's no aluminum. So I'm going to grab this air surfaces one. I'm going to right click and say duplicate. And I'm going to say ALUMINUM, aluminum. I'm going to say glossy, right? Because that's how it would look rendered. And then while I'm here, I'm going to click on it and I'm going to go down to my materials or my asset library. I'm going to open the asset browser. And while I'm in the asset browser, I'm going to go in here. I'm going to type in ALUMIN. Did I spell aluminum right? There we go. All right, so now I'm going to search for an aluminum I want to use. And maybe for this gas station, they have a glossy red look. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to, right, put that in the browser. And I'm going to click close it. So now that's how that's kind of going to look, right? And in the graphics, if I want to change the color in the graphics, I can come in here and I can make it some version of red, that Pantone kind of thing that it has going on. Let me drag it over here. I shouldn't have done that now. It's kind of freezing me up. Hold on a second. I'll pull it over. And I'm just going to try and find a color that looks glossy red, but that's not too overpowering. We'll grab that right now. That'll do. Maybe that one, or maybe 703 or 711. It really doesn't matter. You know, whatever you pick is fine. You may not even want yours to be glossy blue. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and that's what it's going to look like. I'm going to hit apply and hit OK. And so now, you know, that's what that glossiness will look like. And if I change this to shade it, maybe it'll show, you see how it shows a little pinkish, right? So that's kind of what it's going to look like a little later. Nothing real special about that right now, but I'm going to go back to a regular hidden line view. And so right now, that completes that portion of it. That's the panel. We're going to go ahead and in the next video, I'm going to go ahead and save this. And then in the next video, we're going to see if we can apply it to our actual form in our model. So we'll go ahead and stop this video and pick up in the next one.